The star lanyard is a pretty cool one, and as you can see, it starts off with a square stitch. Both of your pieces need to be 5 feet long, but they can be whatever colors you want. I'm just using these because hollow silver and the star kind of makes sense. And I'm using white because it's easier to see what you're doing with the strands if I were to use black, but I think black would look even better than this, honestly. So, you're going to have this stitch here, and you're going to leave this stitch kind of loose. Not super loose, but loose enough to the point where you'd be able to move all these loops around, because we are going to be working with these again later. So I'm not going to pull it too tight here. And you're going to flip it on its backside, on its top, and you're just going to do a stitch right over that. And this one you can make it a little bit tighter. You can treat this one like normal. And also when we work with these loops here, you're gonna need something to kind of yank them out. So you can use like tweezers, paper clip, toothpick, whatever you got. So now we have the starting stitch and our first stitch after that on the other side. So that gives us 2 loops here. And that's important to know that because we're doing 7 stitches right after this. And then we're going to make one of the kind of, what are they called? Vertices, I guess you can call them, for the star, one of the corners. So I'll do these 7 off camera. Now I have the stitches and we have 9 loops in total. So now you're going to choose a side that you're going to want to do the 90-degree stitch for. I'm going to choose the white because I want the silver to show on the front and back. So what you're going to do is you're going to take your strand in the front, for me that's white, and you're going to loop it like that. And you can hold it to the side like that. It's fine. You're going to take your strand in the back of the same color and you're going to bring it into the front and you're going to bring it over this silver strand here, whatever color you're using at home. Now you're going to take that strand that you just wrapped this strand around, which is my silver, and without twisting it, bring it over and under to the top left. My thumb's kind of in the way. I'm doing my best to hold it for you so you can see it. And you want to leave this up. You're going to take your strand on the right, and hopefully without bumping the camera, I'm actually going to switch hands so I don't. I'm going to take this strand and without twisting it, bring it over this strand and through that loop down here. And you're going to pull it together and it's going to take shape. And now when you do your stitches on top of that, they're going to start coming this way. And you're going to want to do 9 more stitches on top of that. So I'll do one for you here to show you that the stitches look normal once you get that first stitch out of the way. This is getting loose. It's harder to see what I'm doing. And there you go. So you're going to do 8 more stitches on top of that. So I have the 9 stitches, and this is what it looks like. This piece should be shorter than this one. And we just went up this way, and we're going to go across this way. So we're going to do the same exact thing. So you're going to take, your strand should be on different sides than they were on the first 90-degree stitch you did. So you're going to take your front strand and make a loop, and take your strand behind and bring it over and around. And this works better for me as a lefty. So I like when the stitch looks like this. So you're going to take your strand from the left and bring it over this loop and through that loop on the right. You're going to take this strand, I gotta move my hand back so it can focus, and without twisting it, you're going to bring it over this strand and through that loop, making sure you're not crossing through this one. Come on. Snagged on the edge of this light box. That happens a lot, actually. And you're going to pull it together. And it's okay if this kind of like sticks up, because when you pull it together, that stitch will still be in the correct place. And I'm going to do a stitch right over it, just to show you what it looks like. This looks a little crooked, but you can easily just push it and it'll straighten itself out. Right. Keep going until you have 9. So I have this now. And you should too. So it kind of looks like a Z almost. And we're gonna do this stitch again, I'll show you. Bring the strand in the front to make a loop like that. Take the strand in the back and you wrap it around this strap or this strand on the side. Without twisting it, you're going to bring this strand over and under to the left and to the top. Without twisting this, you take this strand, bring it over and under to the right. Doing it a little bit faster now. If you're still stuck, obviously you can rewind the video. But I'm doing it faster now because you should get the hang of it. And I'm going to do a stitch right on top of that so you can see. So there you go. And you're going to do your 8 stitches there. So then you'd have 4 of these little pieces. And you're going to keep going until you have 10 of these, including this one. This one may be a little bit shorter, but this counts as your first one. So keep going, like I said, until you have 10. Alright, so I have the lanyard, and this is what yours should look like. there are 10 little like bits here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And I have that rotating stitch here already. And you're going to do a stitch right on top of that. Alright, so you should have this. And this is going to connect with that. So, I'm actually gonna, let me get my scissors. I actually got these cutters instead. And what I'm gonna do is, you don't have to do this if you don't want to, but personally, I find it helpful. I'm gonna cut each end so that it has like a pointed edge. And this doesn't need to be perfect. And I'm doing this because when we stick the ends through the starting stitch, it's easier to do it like that. Well, it is for me anyway. And you don't want to cut it super duper sharp if you don't need to. Just that. That's all you need. Right. So what you're going to do is you're going to put the lanyard together like this. And the two sides are mirror images of each other. So you're going to take this strand and you're going to run it under this loop, this strand under this loop, this strand under this loop, and this strand under this loop. Yeah, so I totally messed up and destroyed this starting stitch here, and I just figured it wasn't really worth trying to fix it. Like, it's over. Like, this is the only piece that is like completely intact, this white right here. So I'll probably just keep making zigzags with it, and I'll just sell it as a keychain. So I made another one, and I made the starting stitch a little bit looser because I think that was my issue. And we're going to do this the same exact way. So once again, these should be mirror images of each other. And this is going to go here. I think once again I'm going to cut these strands to match the pointy ones I did on the last one. Yeah, so I just did all 4 of those. I'm going to do my best to work with this. Still had to kind of use these tweezers to push it through, but I got it in there and it was much easier this time. I'll do this side next because I like to do it kind of in like a circle pattern. Yeah, this is much better. That starting stitch being looser is what I needed. I never made it loose enough. Yeah, that's way easier. And when you pull this, you want to pull it back so it's not in the way of these other loops that you have to work with next. use the tweezers to pinch this one and push it through. Just like that. And I'll just pull that through with my fingers and my thumb. So that's one, and you push that back, and you've got one more. And this is gonna go right here. I'm gonna be very careful with this because I don't want it to rip or tear. And I guess that's why using a paper clip is a better idea, because it's not pointy, it's not sharp. And you're going to pull each piece together one by one, and you're going to make sure it's flipped back to the side that it's going in, or just the direction that it's going in. Some strands weren't going in the right direction, so I'm pulling those back. And pull each side as tight as you can so this blends, the two ends blend into each other really good, okay? Won't be perfect, but they need to be at least good enough. And this next step is completely optional, but I like to do it because I'm kind of a perfectionist when it comes to this. So I'm actually going to use glue. Once you get the strands as tight as you possibly can without breaking them, I'm going to pull each strand tight one last time. You're going to cut the ends off. And you can finish your lanyard like that, but because I don't want this coming apart at any time, I'm actually going to super glue the edges. Once again, I have a paper towel here because I don't want to ruin my light box with some crazy glue. And also, like, I don't know if you can tell, like, you can see these little, like, dots here. I think that was from the super glue, even though it was on the paper towel, whatever. I'm just glad that there's no, like, actual, like, substantial damage. There's kind of like a spot there. And I don't know how well that's going to show up, or how much it's going to show up if I were to actually use this light box for its intended purpose. Right. just going to put it on those ends that we just cut off. Being very careful not to accidentally touch the glued area with my hands. And this isn't that much glue, so I'm gonna let that dry for 15 minutes. Okay, so the glue is now dried, and if your star has kind of this like curved pattern to it, or this curved shape, that's fine. That's normal when you're putting things like this together. Things tend to twist and curl. And you're probably going to see that as well with the new heart lanyard that I'm going to be showing in the next few videos, because there are a few different versions. So yeah, it's not new, but it's newer to me because I don't really do shapes. But yeah, this is the star. Looks pretty cool, and it will look even cooler if you use different colors. I noticed how the stripe for the new like 90-degree stitch, you can see the stripe is the same color as this on the front. Stripe is silver, this front is silver. The back is silver obviously, but the white is showing. I personally like this side better. But yeah, that's it for this video. I'll see you in the next one.